You're listening to the Conscious Her podcast. Today, I'm talking about what you should know about spirit guides that no one else is talking about, so that you can feel even more comfortable bringing them into your life. So, stay tuned. Hi, I'm Kimberly Morrow, and you're listening to the Conscious Her podcast. The Conscious Her is an accessible online platform and community of conscious women that are empaths, highly sensitive people, and intuitives who are both curious and passionate about spiritual and energetic self-development. As a professional psychic medium, spiritual guide and mentor, intuitive energy healer, and channel for over 5 years now, I dedicate my life to reconnecting energetically sensitive women to the divine within themselves so that they can live the most fulfilling, rewarding, and transformational life possible by remembering who they are and why they're here. If you're looking to learn how to leverage and apply your incredible energetic gifts in your personal and professional life and utilize your intuition and sensitivity as your personal superpowers, this podcast is for you. So let's dive into today's discussion right now. Hey, beautiful light being, and welcome to the Conscious Her podcast. Welcome back to Spirit Series, the last episode in this series, which is a special compilation of episodes I've created to help you learn more about your spirit guides and the incredible role they play in your life. Today, in episode 13, we're talking about what you should know about spirit guides, and today I'm digging deeper into some amazing insights about spirit guides that no one else is really talking about in this spiritual industry. If you're curious about learning how to work with and embrace your spirit guides, how to build a relationship with them, and how to channel them, stick around to the end of the episode and I'll give you the details on that. If you need a thorough and proper introduction to what spirit guides are and what it means to channel your spirit guides, please go ahead and listen to episode 9 first, entitled The Best Kept Secret of Highly Sensitive Souls, and that will help you understand what I'm talking about in this episode, so much more. So without further ado, let's dive into today's topic. Spirit guides, the beautiful light beings of love frequency and light consciousness that are rarely visible to the human eye, but without a doubt we know about their existence. We know that they are here to help us navigate on the earthly plane and to help us expand, evolve, and transform throughout our journey here in life's school, and they are constantly helping us align with our soul purpose to heal and to learn valuable lessons while we're here. There's a lot of material out there on spirit guides, and like I've mentioned before, we have to be careful about who we're learning from in the spiritual industry because, as you may or may not know, it's an industry that's not regulated. There's no governing body. There's no overarching authority or system to monitor the validity or legitimacy of those who are working within it and what they're doing with their practice, their teachings, their business, their guidance, etc. There are many theories and teachings and lessons that have come through from higher realms of consciousness that many of us can agree on and that we understand. But then in between all of that, there's a lot of egos present in the spiritual industry as well. And egos can get really polarized with right versus wrong, good versus bad, us versus them, and so on and so forth. This is what can create a lot of issues and a lot of people being grossly misled. Therefore, we get a lot of people who, and you may have been in this situation before, get taken advantage of. This is where people can get a bad taste in their mouth about the spiritual industry and those within it and those who operate within it. There's many people who have no problem capitalizing on other people's vulnerability. This is the darker side of it all, and it breaks my heart that this happens so often. This has even happened to me, but it was actually people that I worked for, which is even more disturbing, to put it that way. So if this has happened to you, trust me, I know how awful it feels. I'm actually going to be creating a separate podcast episode on this topic itself, so stay tuned for that one. So with this podcast, I like to share in the most authentic way possible what I have learned, what I know to be true based on my experiences, my training, my mentors, and my connection to the spirit realm and so forth, to make sure that you get the right information and that you feel empowered. And I just want to say, I'm never going to tell you what to believe. I'm never going to put myself above anyone else, and I'm never going to argue over my truth versus your truth. Okay? Everyone has the right to their own spiritual truth and their own relationship to God or source or the universe, etc. And I acknowledge that everyone has an internal guidance system, their intuition, and their own connection to the divine within themselves to follow. I will never take the place of any of those things, nor will I ever aspire to do that. So with that being said, today, I want to share with you what I believe that you should know about your spirit guides so that you feel knowledgeable, powerful, inspired, and you gain the insight I feel is advantageous for you to know, especially if you're interested in working with your spirit guides more closely. So the first thing that you should know about spirit guides is number one, spirit guides have advanced communication styles. So we can address our spirit guides like we talk to each other as human beings. This means that we can whisper, we can talk under our breath, or we can speak out loud to them. And while that might be the most natural way for us to communicate, we're not limited to regular speech with spirit guides as a form of direct communication. We can also communicate using our psychic senses, or we can communicate telepathically, meaning we can transmit our thoughts to our spirit guides and we can receive their responses back through the power of our minds. Sometimes we're able to sense or feel their response rather than hearing it. This depends on the strength of our intuition and the development of our psychic senses themselves, and discovering which one is our strongest sense. With practice and exploration of our psychic senses, some of us will develop or will be drawn to channel our spirit guides like I do, and this often happens through automatic writing to begin with. And then you can move on to channel directly through the power of your mind, telepathically, like I do. When we begin to think about our spirit guides, we let them know consciously or unconsciously that we may wish to communicate with them. And spirit guides hear our thoughts as a call for assistance. So once we establish a connection with the spirit guide and we begin to recognize their communications specifically for us, we begin to learn this beautiful advanced language of spirit. It's also important to know that spirit guides can speak to us indirectly. Therefore, they can send us messages through signs, symbols, synchronicities, animals is a big one, music, books, situations, and even circumstances. They have an unlimited language. It abides by no rules and it doesn't conform to anything. The language that spirit guides have is expansive and fascinating, and they're able to speak to us abstractly too. So for example, my spirit guides love to speak to me in metaphors and analogies, which is why you hear me reference this so often, right? This all has to do with providing us with communications that we will understand, so us specifically. And even if we don't always get it on the surface, you can trust that our souls know. the meaning. And sometimes it takes time to get it, and that's perfectly okay. Sometimes we receive communication that is not relevant immediately, but then later makes a lot of sense. So remember that communication does not always abide by time. That time is a human-made construct. Thus, you can receive information that does not make sense right away, but eventually it will. This is why I always say, if it doesn't make sense right now, don't ignore it, just file it in the back of your mind. As we continue to develop common references or associations over time, our spirit guides will continue to use these specific communications to get our attention and to interact with us. And they usually know what to do to get our attention. It's also important to know that how one person communicates with spirit may be completely different than the person next to them. We each have our own unique language, our own internal reference library, and ways that we communicate with our own spirit guides. So if you want to work with your spirit guides, it's really important that you go within first, that you trust yourself, that you listen to yourself, and that you have your own personal power and energetic sovereignty. Because when you do this, then you'll always stay true to who you are, and you won't be as easily influenced by people who don't always have your best interests at heart. You'll be more in touch with divine guidance, and you'll have a better relationship with your own spirit team. This is why I always say cross-reference with your own intuition, with your own internal guidance system first, before anything and anyone else. The second thing that you should know about spirit guides is number 2, spirit guides do not hold judgments or expectations. Okay, spirit guides understand that we are the ones that make the choices and decisions in our lives. We choose our actions every day and we walk our own paths. Spirit guides are not like our parents, they're not like our guardians, and they're not even like religious figures, and they do not expect us to follow their guidance or counsel. We do not have to apologize when we don't follow their counsel. They do not expect us to ask for their permission or seek approval from them. Spirit guides will acknowledge or bring to our attention when we are acting in ways that are not healthy or self-destructive, but they will never force us to straighten out our actions. Spirit guides empathize with us, and they have this genuine love and concern for us. And after having spent time on the earthly plane themselves, they understand the struggles, the obstacles, and the difficulties we face. Many also understand the reality of incarnating as a physical human being, knowing the distractions or the physical temptations we experience daily. A spirit guide's love is unconditional and understanding. And while some spirit guides are with us temporarily, they never leave our side in our time of need. Okay. On top of this, they will never expect anything from us in return. This is a huge one. There is nothing we need to do, to give, to pay back, or provide to our spirit guides at any time. Okay. And I just want to repeat that there is nothing we need to do, to give, to pay back, or provide to our spirit guides at any time. Again, they are here to love, guide, assist, educate, mentor, inspire, motivate, and protect us. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? Finally, I want you to remember that they don't possess the human qualities that would allow them to hold judgments or to have expectations of us. They are pure love frequency and light consciousness with our best interests at heart. So again, there are no judgments and there are no expectations, okay? So moving on to number 3, the third thing that you should know about spirit guides is that spirit guides respect our free will. Our spirit guides respect the fact that we have the ability to make choices for ourselves every day that can change the trajectory of our life on a daily or weekly basis. It's in divine law that they cannot interfere with our free will. They're not allowed to. It's a huge no-no, and that's just how it works. Therefore, your spirit guides cannot make you do anything. They can only guide you. Hence, spirit guides, right? Spirit guides. They also respect the fact that we can operate in our lives without ever contacting them directly. In fact, the majority of people move through life without ever understanding or knowing or even hearing about their spirit guides. Understanding this, spirit guides will never intervene in our lives without our intention or invitation. Though they do their very best to protect us, assist us, and guide us, unless we ask specifically for their assistance with something in particular, they will not intervene. Remember, you have to ask if you want them to work with you. You have to invite them in. When we do begin to open up our awareness and spirituality and start to invite in our spirit guides to take on a bigger role in our lives, you can see how delighted and thrilled they would become. They're like the kids in a baseball game that are just kind of sitting in the outfield, chewing on a piece of grass, waiting for the ball to come their way. You have to throw them the ball to get them involved, right? You know what I'm saying? If you're ever interested in learning more on this topic, I highly recommend reading Dolores Cannon books, as she really gets into this. Moving forward to number 4, the fourth thing that you should know about spirit guides is that spirit guides are never ignoring you. Throughout life, sometimes we encounter these phases of feeling out of touch with our intuition and our spirituality, and we feel consumed by our current situation or circumstances in our human lives. We're placing more focus into the physical realm than usual because life happens, right? It's a fine balance. So it's common for us to feel disconnected from our spirit team. Other times, even when we're still connected, we feel like our spirit guides are not sending us the clear messages or the guidance that we need or that we're wishing for. Know with certainty that your spirit guides are never ignoring you. It's likely that they're still working on what signs, symbols, synchronicities, and so forth to send you in perfect timing so that you will notice them. Or perhaps you're not ready yet for the answers to your inquiries. Bet you didn't think of that one. Or perhaps you're still wrapped up in an emotional or mental state that is preventing you from receiving. If you want more on this, go back and listen to episode 8 entitled, What to Do When the Universe is Ignoring You. Or you may even be missing or ignoring your spirit guides. So it's likely the way that your spirit guides are communicating with you is not actually the way you expect them to. Often we have an idea in our heads about how the communication is going to take place. And then when it doesn't play out that way, you think there's something wrong or that you're not doing it properly. And my advice is to drop all expectations around this. Spirit guides always send us messages using various methods. However, we need to make sure that we are exerting a conscious effort to be open and receptive and welcoming to them all, to expect the unexpected. If you ask a question that you have not yet received an answer to yet, it's likely too that your spirit guides have determined that the answer is best left unanswered for now. This also depends on your intention or motivation behind the question. If there is learning involved on a deeper level or on deeper levels, then your spirit guides will not answer directly. Your spirit guides are always with you. They're always ready to help. They're always ready to guide and protect you on call. It's impossible for you to be alone here during your journey on the earthly plane. You always have a spirit team to count on and to know that they're watching over you. Even on the most mundane days, our spirit guides are there. They're always willing to communicate with us. So please don't ever believe that you are being ignored, okay? There's so much more going on behind the scenes than you could possibly ever imagine or comprehend. Moving on to number 5, your spirit guides will provide guidance, not orders. Okay, this is huge. Your spirit guides will only ever provide you with loving guidance, assistance, and protection. They will never, ever, ever give you orders, demands, rules, or expectations. Spirit guides will only ever tell you the best path to take. They'll advise you of the best possible outcome, and they'll often let us know why their suggestions are the beneficial ones. Okay, spirit guides will not hold grudges or judgments, like we talked about earlier, against us if we decide not to follow their counsel. Spirit guides will often support us in evaluating our options while taking both the earthly and the astral aspects into account. Those two parts of our existence. They'll help you in the decision-making process, but they will never ever dictate. Okay, so just like an excellent coach, a spirit guide will help you come to conclusions on your own and learn what you need to learn for yourself. This is a collaboration, a team effort, and a partnership, but never, ever a dictatorship, okay? And again, just like teachers or coaches, every spirit guide has a unique way of delivering their guidance. They have their own special sauce. While some spirit guides may provide guidance by simply answering simply and directly and straightforward, others may ask theoretical or rhetorical questions to provoke deeper thinking or an inner reflection within you, okay? Additionally, you may notice that your spirit guides have these distinct personalities or qualities that are translated to you when you communicate with them. This helps you to understand when and how they communicate too. You get to know them over time, okay? This is also what builds that beautiful relationship between you and them. And finally, number 6, spirit guides cannot interfere with karmic progression. While we can refer to our spirit guides as I like to call them our panel of experts or our entourage or our cheerleaders, they may not always have the answers you're looking for exactly when you want them. And also, they may have the answers, but they're not actually allowed to reveal them to you, okay? They're not allowed to reveal something directly to you. As humans, we come down to the earth plane to experience being a human, to learn soul and spiritual lessons, and to gain this spiritual ascension. And every time we experience a life, we are creating, building, or resolving karma. It's a continuous balancing act, and the goal is to release all karma you have accrued, okay? Spirit guides cannot interfere or influence the spiritual or karmic progression of another being or their assigned human being, okay? Our spirit guides love us way too much to hinder or compromise our growth. It's a process that they cannot interfere with, just like how they cannot interfere with free will that we talked about earlier. Therefore, you can't skip or short circuit your karma, okay? You have to resolve it at some point or another. There are some people that will go lifetimes upon lifetimes without healing their karma, and they can get stuck on what is called a karmic loop, which is very much representative of the physical 3D human realm or a lower energy frequency or vibration. But much of us, especially if you're listening to this podcast, are high energy frequency and vibration, and we are breaking through the programming and the systems and the illusions. We're breaking free from the heavy karma, and we're actually seeing it for what it is. We're much more aware of it now than we ever have been before, and our souls know what to do. those who wish to transcend their karma, heal, and release it are usually those who are on a spiritual path, which is probably a highly sensitive soul like you. Your soul is probably seeking out the truth, the healing, the knowledge, the lessons, and so forth, and you're receptive to that. You're ultra receptive to that, right? So your spirit guides can guide you on how to better balance, clear, or heal your karma, but they can't give you all the answers themselves, okay? That's up to you to discover and work through. So for example, if your spirit guides are recommending inner child work or inner child healing or ancestral forgiveness healing or something along those lines, or even going into the Akashic records, these are all ways that our spirit guides may be guiding us on how to better balance, clear, or heal our karma, okay? It would be pointless for your spirit guides to answer all of your questions, especially when you are working through learning an important lesson, usually many at once, usually many at one time. It would defeat the purpose of guidance or mentorship from your spirit guides. Plus, it would make our lives pretty boring and unfulfilling, right? Even if someone tells you the answers, if you don't actually get it within your soul, then it's useless, right? It's not going to work. If you want to learn more about karma, by the way, again, I recommend Dolores Cannon. She writes fascinating books, and the one I am thinking of in particular right now that's coming to mind is called Between Life and Death. I recently read it, and she explains karma there really well, and it's absolutely fascinating, by the way. So this wraps up what I feel that you should know about spirit guides and what other people aren't talking about in the spiritual healing industry, okay? Earlier in the episode, I spoke about how I can teach you how to communicate with your spirit guides so that you too can have access to all of these incredible benefits and really heal and transform your life through the power of building a relationship with your spirit guides. This past month, from March 15th to March 18th, I did a 4-day live training series on Instagram Live where I presented my specialized and divinely downloaded framework, which are the 4 pillars of spirit guide communication and the 20 steps to effective spirit guide communication, which is specifically designed to help highly sensitive souls like yourself learn how to channel their spirit guides in the most natural way possible so that they can experience life with greater trust, alignment, ease, and flow. This is the exact framework that I teach students in my signature program, the Ultimate Spirit Guide Communication course. And the Ultimate Spirit Guide Communication course is my comprehensive self-study and group study program that trains you to communicate with your spirit guides, trust your intuition, and develop your beautiful sensitive gifts as a highly sensitive soul, all through the power of spiritual mentoring and an incredible supportive community. It helps you learn how to get the answers, reassurance, support, and guidance you're looking for by learning to channel your spirit guides, communicate with higher realms of consciousness, and actually understand divine expression. If you want to catch the replays of that free training and to get a feel for the course, simply head over to my Instagram account, which is @theconsciousher, where I have them posted on my IGTV. Right now, the spring enrollment for the Ultimate Spirit Guide Communication course is now open until April 9th, 2021. And I also just introduced a 12-pay option for those who are really interested in joining the program, but are experiencing some financial constraints. If you're ready to sign up for the course and you feel like this is something you really want to dive into, all you have to do is visit www.theconsciousher.com/signature course to get started. If you have any questions, concerns, or inquiries about the course, send me an email at hello@theconsciousher.com or connect with me over on Instagram. My channel is @theconsciousher, all one word. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you've learned something new during this episode. Have a beautiful day, take care, and I'll catch you on next week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode and for listening to the Conscious Her podcast. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here and a part of our community. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you subscribe and share it on your social media channels with your spiritual soul sisters, friends, family, and network. Chances are, if this resonated with you, it will for them too. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I'm here to help. You can email me at hello@theconsciousher.com, and I may even use your question or topic of discussion for a future podcast episode. If you want daily support for your highly sensitive soul, please visit me over on Instagram at @theconsciousher. If you're interested in working with me, visit www.theconsciousher.com and be sure to subscribe to my mailing list. Finally, I do have a personal request. I believe that our purpose here is to heal ourselves and to serve others. And together, you and I can help more people. If you would please leave a positive review for this podcast on iTunes, I'd be so eternally grateful for your support. Thank you and have a great day.